Hello and welcome to a video with me, Raindale. And today is the 7th episode of our MR Spotlight series, and this time we're featuring Adelard. In my opinion, he's really one of the better MR units out there. His supporting capabilities are really high, and he can also deal some pretty significant damage. So let's take a look at our strong points first, before taking him into arena as per usual. The first thing I want to say is Adelard is surprisingly bulky. He has 15% ice and slash resistance, and then 25% piercing and missile resistances. So if you're running some kind of resistance build in your team, he's a great support that's going to tank quite a few hits before going down. Now he has the White Mage subjob, in which he has the ability to heal and protect using Protect, Shell, and etc. Of course, as a main Red Mage, he already has Cura in his main kit, so you don't need him to be a White Mage in order for him to have some healing, but obviously it will give him access to better healing moves, such as Kuraga. Then he has a surprising amount of damage. Jamming Thrust is a great move from his Red Mage job, but then he also has Fira, and if you're running him as a Green Mage, he has access to Imperil, which is a pretty decent attack in terms of damage, which also reduces elemental resistances to all elements on the targets that you hit. So that's a really powerful move as well. And then he has, since he's a Green Mage, access to the Emerald Echo passive, and that one is really underrated, I think. It's very, very strong. What it means is that every buff and debuff that Adelard casts on someone will last one extra turn. Now, moving from 3 to 4 turns is good, but not game-changing. But what this does allow is if you're using TMRs, for example, that have a buff that lasts for only 1 turn. These buffs are usually really strong. For example, Whisper's TMR will give plus 45 defense and spirit to a target for 1 turn. If that buff can last 2 turns instead, it's really, really powerful. So he would be able to use these kind of buffs to better avail as a support and then make your team much tougher. So that's what he's looking like in terms of the unit. So let's now go take a look at our team before fighting. Okay, so what's our team comp for today? Well, we're running 2 MR units. I do want these MR spotlights to eventually feature more than one at a time, so whenever I feel like it fits the team comp, I'm going to try that out. The man of the hour is Adelard, and I'll just say, I wish I had a Lohengrin, the mag version, for him to have more magic, but unfortunately I do not. So normally I would replace this Sortilege here with a Lohengrin. He would have a lot more magic, so instead of the, basically he would gain 60 plus 60, he would gain 120 more and be around the 820 instead of 700. So that would definitely help out in his healing and his damage capabilities, and he would only lose 12 defense from that. But unfortunately I don't have it, so we're going to see him with a little bit less potential than what he would have. Also, his faith is only at 70, so he could be hitting harder and healing more. But still, I think he's going to perform just fine as he is. As a Red Mage, we're letting all his abilities on. They're actually all pretty good. And as you can tell, they're not max, but I try to put the most relevant abilities at 15. Then as a White Mage, we're also leaving his abilities on, because if he has time to cast Protect or Shell, I'm really fine with that being cast. They're actually really good buffs, but his AI prioritizes damage first, then AoE buffs, so he's going to use Rain's TMR to give more spirit to our team in case we fight mages. And then after that, he will prioritize healing and single target buffs. So I'm not afraid of him casting Protect when he could be hitting the enemy team. He won't do that. He's pretty intelligent in terms of his AI. We also have Magic Reflex, just because it might save our life, and then Savior's Protection for a little bit more magic resistance. Honestly, his passives are not so impressive aside from Emerald Echo, so that's the one we're going to keep at all costs. And then in this map, we're able to run Adelard in the last spot because he has jump 2, and that's really important. It will allow him to follow the rest of our team without any issues. So here are his stats. 3,300 HP might not seem like a lot, but he's actually rather tanky thanks to his resistances. So the way he's built, he has 35% slash and pierce resist, 25% missile resist, and then 6% magic. So he's pretty tanky. He's going to be able to take at least one hit from most damage-oriented characters in the game. Now, moving to our main carry. We're running Winter Macherie at 89. It's fine. I don't mind the difference between 89 and 99. She's got a lot of attack, 915, 4.4k HP, and 21 defense. She also has a lot of jump, so she can go across the map, and the main thing she's going to do is cast barrage on the enemy teams with the AP from Xyz's bells. I turned off her delayed damage abilities because I don't want those to be used, but I did leave the Dragoon delayed abilities on, because if she would deal more damage with a Dragoon ability than barrage, I am fine with her using that. And then, since we have access to Reflex, we're going to run Reflex. It's probably the best counter ability in the game, so let's leave that on. And then the overall stats that she has are pretty impressive. She's almost at 50% slash resistance, a little bit of pierce resistance, and also pretty decent magic resistance as well. So we're looking good here. So this is our main damage dealer. We're running Odin for extra man-eater as well, and then because I want her to use to stay back and use her bow abilities more than her pierce abilities, I'm running Frederica's Dream, so that will increase the damage of her missile attacks, so she might use them more than her pierce attacks. And then Nasha is our tank. She's there to be in front and remain alive for as long as possible. She's got almost 6k HP. And almost no attack. She's not there to hurt the enemy team, she's just there to tank, 52 defense and 20 spirit, but if we get a ranged TMR ability off from Adelard, this will actually go above 50 as well, so she's going to be as resistant to magic attacks as she is to physical. Her faith is low to reduce incoming magic attacks as well. And she also has pretty decent resistances all around, except for her weakness to magic. So yeah, she's not that resistant to magic still, but we're trying to mitigate this weakness as much as we can. And then we're running Dragon's Blade as a counter. I would replace it with Paladin's Guard, honestly, but it's not leveled, and I don't have enough job points on her to change it. So we're going to keep Dragon's Blade and hope for a lucky counter once in a while. And then, well, since she's in slot 1, she does not need the jump up, so we're just going to run what makes her tanky. In terms of abilities, I've turned off every offensive abilities except for Taunting Blade, hoping that it's the one she's going to use to generate more AP, more hate, sorry. I realized that I really wanted her to have hate innately, so we're running Vow of Love for that extra 5 hate in the beginning. So this is the team, let's go into battle. Okay, this time we're fighting Sakura, Orlandeau, and Elsirelle, and I'm very interested to see how this goes, because I have yet to see Elsirelle be used much, and I am very eager to fight her. Their team is still very strong. They have a couple units that are very high in the meta, especially Sakura. They are at 89, but I'm fine with challenging an 89 team here because we're using 2 MR units and our own carry on our team is also 89. So we don't really have much, we're not running like all the meta units ourselves, so I think it's fair to challenge them this way. So their Orlandeau increases evasion, and I'm not a big fan of that because our team doesn't have much accuracy. Now, okay, so we were fighting a lower level Sakura, and it showed here because she died in 1 hit. That's not good so much for our showcase of Adelard, but we do get the win, so I'm not going to complain there. So at that point, we're taking out the entire enemy team, and you can tell Adelard has jump too, which is really convenient. It means that he's able to follow up with our team and to keep them healthy. So now our Winter Macherie is almost back to full HP, so Adelard did his job supporting from the backline here. Alright, so now we're fighting the super dark, the new and upgraded Dark Bros with Kain, Duane, and Garvall. Am I expecting to win this? Not necessarily, but I want to see how Nasha tanks and Adelard supports her team. And then Winter Macherie will do pretty decent damage with her barrages. Hopefully she will stay far away from Nasha so that she doesn't get killed too early. And I'm also not that scared of Garvall in that team because we will have a lot of spirit on Nasha, and again, her faith is really low. So it's going to take them a while before they are able to take her out. Will she do any damage back? No, she won't, but that's not her role. So Nasha has extra spirit, she now has immortal spirit, and since she's running Vow of Love, she has a little bit of hate to keep her to keep the enemy aggro until she has the chance to use Taunting Blade. So at that point, we're attacking. You can tell Adelard did a lot of damage on the enemy Duane. That's very strong. Now Duane will heal back up, but we have pretty decent slash resistance on our team. And even through that slash resistance, he still manages to kill Adelard. Now Garvall hits our... Wow, that was a lot of damage on Nasha. I'm actually very impressed because she has a ton of spirit there. But he just hits really hard as well. And at that point, we are pretty much doomed. Garvall will finish us off with a ton of damage. Yeah, this enemy team was very, very strong, and their damage was a little bit too much for us to take. Were we not grouped, we might have been fine, or if they did not have Garvall, Nasha would have been able to tank a lot more hits, and we would also have been performing better. Still though, they're all very low on the enemy team. I'm not too unhappy about that. So we've tried the matchup against Garvall. Did not go so well. Let's try to fight Kain, Winter Viktora, and Agrias this time around. I am not a big fan of having Winter Viktora on the enemy team, especially because she can dispel our buffs and she's water type, so she's going to be countering most of our team. But still, let's see how we can do. Also, she pierces defense, so she's still going to be able to hit Nasha pretty hard. So yeah, we'll see. And she's not running this bow, she's running a powerful bow as well. But let's see. So there, Kain moves forward. He has the extra movement, which is really unfortunate for us because it means that we don't get the chance to use bells on Winter Macherie. And just that little factor might cost us the win, because at that point, she won't be able to use Barrage and keep hitting all the enemy team members. And our team doesn't have much damage aside from what she provides. So Nasha gets her spirit up removed, and as you can tell, since our enemy is ignoring defense, she actually hits really, really hard. And then Kain does Kain things and hits us very hard as well. Now, Adelard hits Kain for 2k. That's pretty good. It's a very decent amount of damage. Again, not a big fan of Nasha grouping with the rest of our team, but hey, the enemy Agrias now has hate, and this will proc courage on Nasha, but she's still standing. Now, we are able to use Barrage and take out half of their HP, and again, Adelard, 1700 damage, very decent supporting ability here. And you can tell that his AI prioritizes the ability to do damage over healing if he has the chance to do damage. Now at that point, we are able to finish off the enemy team, and it's a pretty clean win. It might have been different if the enemy Kain used Courage, but he instead rushed towards us, so we're able to take him out pretty early. Okay, so we're fighting a pretty strong enemy team. They're running Kain, Orlandeau, and Sakura, maxed out Demon Wall, maxed out Agrias, and whatnot, so their physical attackers are very strong, and then our team is not especially strong against magic attacks. But still, I'm curious to see how it goes. If our Winter Macherie can kill their Sakura before she gets the chance to hit us, we just might be fine. But their Sakura is running Zombie Transformation, so I'm not really expecting this to happen. So first things first, their Kain uses Revitalize, so he doesn't have Immortal Spirit yet. I would say I'm pretty happy about that, but I'm also very unhappy with the fact that we did not use Bells again. that means that we might be in trouble because we did not kill Orlandeau, and now they're going to be attacking our carry. Or at least their Orlandeau is going to be attacking our carry because their Kain is in range to attack someone else. Orlandeau does not take us out though because we have a lot of slash resistance on Winter Macherie, and that's one of her strengths. So at that point, I'm very happy. The enemy Sakura was kind of stranded for a while, so we're able to take their carries out before they can do anything. So now Sakura tries to move forward a little bit, and unfortunately we grouped for Kain's attack. That means we're going to lose our main carry. Now, well, we do have some pretty decent damage, but Kain is so much faster than Nasha that he just keeps playing a couple times in a row. So can Adelard take out the 2 remaining enemy members? I don't know. Had he not missed that, he might have actually had a shot. Now, remember, he does have some pretty decent pierce resistance, so he's going to survive an attack from the almighty Kain. But it's still not looking too great in terms of being able to take out Sakura afterwards. He does have some decent magic resistance as well, but the main issue here is he also has high faith, so she's gonna hit him pretty hard. Did Adelard do a good job here? Yeah. Had he not missed on Kain, it might have been even better though. But overall, I would say this was not too bad. What happened that screwed us up was that we allowed Kain to AoE our team. Okay, so how did Adelard do? I would say he did just fine. Honestly, he's very strong for a MR unit. I'm not feeling that he's MR when I'm using him. He can hit for roughly half of the enemy team's HP, and if I was running the optimal gear on him, he would be hitting even harder. And then he can also heal decently well, and whatever buff he uses lasts longer, which I really like. I think that's a very strong point that he has. So overall, he's pretty good. I would be curious to use him as a green mage and watch his Imperial in action as well. But for this video, we kept him as a white mage to give him a little bit more healing. Overall, I think he's a very interesting character. The fact that he has some innate bulk means that he's not going to die as easily as other MR units, and that's often the main drawback of MR units, because they go into battle, they'll deal decent damage, but the second an enemy hits them, they just go down, and that's not his case. So he's definitely a good unit to build in the future. So that's it from me today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It will make it more likely that you see my videos in the future. And then thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.